interesting that's an extension of social media as a communication platform. What I think is interesting is group forming behavior. So, and this Reed was alluding to this, how do you use these platforms to organize and aggregate power? So how do individuals use these platforms and use the power of being connected all the time to everyone they know to actually do interesting things? Where does this intersect with politics? Where does it intersect with government? Where does it intersect with, all forms of sort of group forming community behavior? We've seen a little of that, but it's been so frivolous. We haven't seen much of that as it pertains to, useful applications for getting useful things done in the real world.
Well, among the many long things on your resume is the fact you created causes on Facebook. Is that one of the reasons you did it?
This might be a plug for causes.
I think it is.
Well, I mean, the UC causes is typically seen as a way to raise money for nonprofits. Cool, but I know you think of it as having quite a bit bigger potential role. Can you just quickly talk about what that might be?
Sure. I mean, to me, it's definitely not really about raising money. Raising money is just one thing that activists do. It's one thing that we do in our political and social lives. The goal is really, how do you take all of those things, all the tools that people use to organize, and make them pretty dead simple, and apply a little bit of viral optimization, a little viral math to the entire process. So things like collecting petition signatures, lobbying public officials, suggesting that governments do certain things, essentially all the things you do when you aggregate power. And that whole tool set is something that we've been working on, and a lot of other interesting companies have been working on.
Okay, I'd like you both to answer this question. What is the most interesting social opportunity that Facebook is not doing and will not be likely to be done in conjunction with Facebook?
Well, my earlier answer to that was games.
With or without Facebook?
Well, it was the thing that Facebook.
You mean your answer when you invested in Zynga?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. But what's your answer now?
I'm thinking.
Sean thinks fast. You got another while he's thinking? I can think of one that I think you think.
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
I happen to know Sean. I mean, you have, it's well known amongst certain circles, you're involved with
Just make me look
Chatroulette.
smart.
You're involved with Chatroulette in some sense, right? We don't know exactly how, you haven't really talked about it much publicly, it's been written about.
I don't think it has been written about, actually.
Well, yes, you said something about it on stage in another place where I was with you. So why does Chatroulette seem interesting to you? Let's just start it that way. Not because of the famous masturbational piece.
Because we all.
And infamous. I mean, let's face it, it's not shocking to say that is what it's most famous for, but I know you think that really is irrelevant to what its long-term potential might be.
Well, I mean, I do. So I think the move to live is pretty interesting. Nobody's nailed live. Nobody's nailed live video. There's sort of one-to-one live videos, and it has sort of been figured out with things like Skype, and, never really got figured out on Facebook for whatever reason, probably because Facebook platform was morphing so rapidly. It was hard for a lot of the kind of early communication apps to succeed. Facebook didn't quite know what it wanted out of the platform initially. So I think live video, there's a lot of live video startups that were founded in kind of the mold of YouTube, essentially just directories, and sort of search and discovery of content. That doesn't really work with live. That almost inevitably leads to some sort of porn application. It's not interesting to people to kind of find some other random person to talk to who just happens to be on. So there's something interesting about Chatroulette in terms of its ability to randomly connect you to someone, to just throw you into a conversation. This kind of idea of eliminating all approach anxiety. There's sort of there's no adverse signaling associated with it because you're just thrown into a conversation with someone. You can imagine that moving from a one-to-one medium to a one-to-many medium, where over time the more interesting people rise to the top. You start directing more and more traffic automatically using this algorithm towards the people who are more interesting. And one way of defining more interesting is simply, who doesn't get nexted? Who do people spend a lot?
Nexting meaning when you go to the next person on Chatroulette, you just click next, and then you zip to another random connection.
Yeah. So who
doesn't get nexted?
Who doesn't get nexted? That probably likely means that they're not a penis, or that they're not dressed in a girl outfit. Actually, if they're dressed in a girl outfit, they might not get nexted. But it probably means they're more likely to be a cute girl, and they're less likely to be a penis. They're more likely to be interesting. They're less likely to be just sort of like, out with nothing to say. So over time, the more interesting people rise to the top, and you can direct more and more traffic to them. So you could imagine how something like this evolves towards a platform for live performance, which the internet hasn't really seen yet.